Okay, so we are in a cataclysmic C6. This particular cataclysmic has some C3 sites we're going to try to do. In these Tengus, there's 2 of them. Pretty expensive ships. These are designed to run C3s in pretty much any effect. These effects are going to be against our shield boosters. We get a 50% penalty to boosts. This character is running Hydras, and this other character we see flying back here, she's running crystals, so I'm not nearly as worried about her dying. So this is going to be a quick tutorial how to do some Fortification Frontier sites in probably the worst conditions you can get aside from maybe a wolf riot. So let's go ahead and head on over to one. The key to doing these quickly is usually range. As long as you keep your range, you can do them pretty fast. So the way I like to do these is I like to run straight back to the back of the site. I'll have my other character follow. This first wave we're going to take out these frigates. This should go under 10 minutes. These Hydras give us quite a long range with rage. We're looking at 36 kilometers, so we can really reach out and touch them. Don't really have to use our afterburners in this site, but we're gonna. I'll share the link, the fitting in the description there. So this first wave spawns back here in the back, and they work your way towards you. The second wave spawns over here on the right hand side if we're looking at it straight on. So we kind of want to move in that direction now. That way we can get on top of the upholders that are going to want to run away from us. Immediately go ahead and orbit one of these upholders. We're going to take one of them out, even though they're the trigger, because they web and they newt. Their newts are really not a big issue for this particular ship. We've got lots of cap buffer. And from here we take out the defenders. Between these two ships we're doing about 2,000 DPS. So we can really melt through these sites really fast. In fact, we're going to melt through these sites so fast our MTU back there is not going to be able to keep up. But that's why we're running 2 Tengus. You'll see why here in a minute. You can absolutely do this in 1 Tengu. Does not require 2. These upholders go down really fast, so we're going to go ahead and start moving the opposite direction because he will die by the time he gets out of range. Our final wave's going to end up back here anyway. So I like to start by orbiting the battleship. So what we're looking for is this preserver. We want to kill him because he's going to despawn the site off of the list. We want to make sure that he dies, so we can stay off of the list for as quickly as possible, if that makes sense. The next guy we want to kill is the upholder because he has a web. And he's slowing down my other character. As you can see, he's fallen behind here, which is actually stretching out these other 2 rats. Just not really what you saw. That despawn, it popped off the list there. So now if we leave the site, now, if we don't have a bookmark, so we'll basically lose all this loot unless we scan down our MTU, which is going to be a pain in the butt because that's a pack rat. So this battleship is also nuding us, but again, we don't have to worry about that too much. We've got an absolutely massive capacitor on this Tengu. I'm going to finish off this last rat. We're going to go ahead and align out to our next one. I'm only aligning out with 1 Tengu because I only need to align out with 1 Tengu. So basically what I would do is I would warp to this next one. Go ahead and reload my rage. And I would leave my other character behind to pick up the loot. That way I'm not wasting any time getting started on the second site or coming back to this one, this first one that I just did. So I don't actually have an MTU. Oh yeah, I do. So we'll go ahead and get this started. So again, straight back. We're going to go ahead and drop our MTU for this one. And I'll continue this tutorial until I can get my other character in, and it's basically the same thing over again. So we're going to go ahead and get started on this site and wait for our other character to come in. It's the same thing. They're going to come in directly towards us. We're going to take out these frigates. I usually do one of two things. I either approach one of these asteroids back here, or I approach one of these defenders down here. Either way is fine. It usually puts you in a pretty good position to hit that second wave on the right. And as long as you're running away from the second wave on the right to the third wave on the left, you should get pretty good times. You can also use precision scripts here instead of range scripts, which will help take down the frigates. But I find that the frigates die fast enough that it doesn't matter, especially since your MTU can't keep up anyway. So our first site is still being scooped. We still have 2 pieces of loot waiting to pull in. You could absolutely bookmark the MTU from the previous site if you plan on salvaging. I don't usually salvage these things though. I don't find that there's enough salvage there to make it worth my while. So I just go ahead and pick up the loot from the other site with the first Tengu and run the second site with the second Tengu, and forget about bookmarking and forget about salvaging. It is worth it if you really want to, but it's not necessary. So we're almost done with this first wave, and we're still picking up loot in the first site. Okay, our second character is warping back to our first one here. And we're already on the second wave. This particular character is running Hydras, which gives her a little bit longer range than the first. Like I said, I like to pick off one of the upholders. And from here it's the same thing over again. So I'm not going to finish this site. This is on CC. just doing this for demonstration purposes. I get a lot of questions about how I run my C3s. This is basically my fit. So we're running heavy assault missiles in the highs. We've got cat battery, large cat battery, missile guidance computer, Pith-X large shield booster, shield boost amplifier, Gistum Type A shield amplifier, a Dreadgaristas multi-spec, and a Tenamen afterburner from Gistum C's. We've got the Caldaris in the bottom. Like I said, running about 1100 DPS per. This will run it in about 10 minutes, if not less. And when you start spreading your Tengus out, you can really start running these sites really fast. This fit is actually designed for C4 sites, not for C3s. And I'll go over that in a future episode, but these will absolutely do C4 sites together. They do them all the time. So, anyway, I'm going to warp back to the sun because I don't plan on finishing this site. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. See you later.